Welcome back to Cards and Comics. Now, today I want to go over a video where I compare the 27 Flair Ultra metal cards that came in SpiderMan Flair Ultra to the actual original set that actually inspired those cards, right? And which was the 1995 Flair Metal set. And so everyone, these cards are what's kind of everyone's talking about right now. And they're beautiful cards, and they're really nice looking cards, but they were, an homage to a set that came out in 95. So I'm going to do like a direct character to character comparison. You can kind of see the differences in the sets and kind of like how it was inspired and how it also is different. So we'll start here with the actual Carnage card that's in that 95 set. And I just want to show the card itself. Now the set itself is different in a lot of ways. So if we look at the Carnage card in the 2017 Ultra set, what you'll see is that the actual photo or the drawing is static, right? It's just sitting on top of a kind of a holographic or shiny kind of etched metal background, right? While the actual card in 95, what you can see the design, the bottom design is very similar, right? So obviously this is the inspiration, but the Carnage card and like all cards in the set is very intricate, right? You've got the static drawing here, but in the eyes, in the background, you've got, this kind of like a dufexy, different color foil that's shining and giving off different, colors, and a lot of stuff's going on there. So you got this like standard background that's on all the cards versus this multicolored etched background on this card. Now the other thing that's very similar or very different is the thickness. You've got this kind of 80-point card versus like a 35-point card. So again, these metal cards don't feel as substantial, and I do think that in 95 if this card would have been an 80-point card, a premium 80-point card, it would have made the card look a lot nicer because they do feel very, very thin and not super cheap, but compared to this card, very different in terms of just thickness and how substantial the card feels. Now, I think this Carnage card, honestly, the 95 card is a nicer looking card. It has a lot more going on. But we'll go through, multiple cards, and you'll see that not every card from 95 is an improvement on or a better design. Next up is Venom. So you got your your 2017, and then the 1995 version. It looks like this. Now you can see how they've added the water dripping off him, and how that makes a big effect on the card. You can see the multicolored foil in the background, how his eyes light up and shine. So again, these 95 metal cards are just really intricate. And I imagine this was probably expensive to do, which is why in 2017 they just went ahead and put the photo on a single color holographic background. And then when they did the PMGs, they just changed the color of the foil. They didn't actually do like here where you've got different color foil, that changes, depending on where it's at on the card. So again, and I think that 95 card definitely has a cooler image of Venom. So again, giving the edge there to the 95 set, even though the 2017 set is a thicker card, more substantial looking card. Now, Deadpool is a little bit of a different story. Deadpool in 1995, it just looks really weird. Like, this is like some weird torso. I mean, it's not even close to like correct anatomy. That arm is really funky. I mean, just a really weird looking arm. Again, not great art. I just think this is one of the microcosm of the 90s art right there. It's just like everything is overly muscled and nothing looks cool on this card. So definitely this Deadpool is cooler than this Deadpool for sure. So give it to 2017 on that one. Wolverine, so you got kind of the out of uniform 2017 card. Then you got this kind of classic version of Wolverine. But like, the gloves are kind of purpley. I don't know. Like, I think both cards have their charm. This is a lot more classic. And you see, how the shininess of the different colors, and it's a cool card, but for some reason I just think this is a cool take on the character as far as and just a better drawing, in my opinion, for the character. Now, again, here's where things get really wonky, because now we're in the 90s, right? And the characters had really changed in the 90s, and this is a very classic Iron Man, looking, drawing that they used. It's kind of like just what everyone thinks of Iron Man. And then the 95 card is this. And like, I don't remember Iron Man ever looking like this. I don't know like what this is, but it's not the Iron Man I remember, because it's like super weird looking armor. Like it's like he's wearing like, just a t-shirt underneath the little chest plate thing. I don't know. It just doesn't look like Iron Man, honestly. If you said that was Scorpion, or some other technical, character, I'd be like, okay, probably. I don't know. It doesn't, because it just doesn't look like Iron Man. This looks like Iron Man. This looks like another character. So definitely not the point. Does not go to 95 on that. Captain America, again, in the 90s, Captain America was drawn very weird. And then you get this, and you get the shoulder. So this is like a Rob Liefeld, where he just adds shoulder pads to everything. The A on his head is big and shiny, but in patches everywhere. So I just think, not the greatest interpretation of this character. So again, but look how just crazy that foiling is on this card. I mean, this set just has a really cool foil, and you can get this whole set for sometimes under $100. But this one is just a cool card, but kind of a bad drawing. Again, much more classic take on the character. Last and not the least, I'm going to show you a few extra cards, but this is SpiderMan. And it's hard to script Spider-Man because he got such a classic look, and they really did. They actually did a great job on Spider-Man. Anatomy isn't all wonky. The multicolored foil looks really cool. Everything, is shiny, and the card just looks really cool. And that's another thing too, is like, they did it where the actual drawing was shiny versus just the background. So again, I think my take on the sets, comparison, if you want to compare the two sets, is that this is for all cards. This isn't just Marvel cards. The inserts in the 90s just are have a lot more effort put into them. And, it shows like right now where you're seeing like, an image over foil. Okay, that's still looks good. But how much effort they did to make not only the background shiny, but the card itself shiny, multicolors instead of just one color. Things, are done so like the eyes shine. So it's like they just went way above and beyond. And again, if they'd have made the card 80 point, I think it would be by far the best card, right? Of the two. But again, that's the only thing this card really has going for it, is that in comparison is that it's all on thicker cardstock, so it feels, again, more substantial. But again, the 90s were weird for design. Now the Spider-Man looks fine, but we just saw the Captain America look really weird. And here's some more cards I'll show off as, and again, some weird choices on design here in the 95 set. So here's some more cards. Like, I can't ever remember Invisible Woman wearing a bikini with huge thighs like that, and it's just a kind of a zombie looking face. I don't know. I mean, the background's cool. The swirl reminds me a lot of the Flair metal cards from baseball, but just not a great interpretation of the character. Again, here is Daredevil wearing a uniform I've never really remember, gray and purple. Maybe it's just how the doofexy appearance of this is, but man, this is just not traditional take on this character at all. Here's Weapon X, which is Wolverine. I like this version, so I can't really complain. very wild looking character and running at you. Now this is where they did some cool stuff. Like this card is awesome because they made the eyes shine and different, and not just shine, but with the multicolored foil. Look at that. You've got different hues in those eye sockets, and that's why I'm saying is, they did a great job in the 90s of going above and beyond on a lot of cards like this, and you don't see the effort on today's modern cards. They don't put as much effort into it. Here's Spider-Man 2099. Again, just a really cool looking card. And here's some alternative cards. So here is Spider-Man with, I guess 8, appendages. They've done this a few times. Here is Venom, like shooting guns. So I guess this is like Venom Noir, or what is it? Agent Venom, would be kind of like this. So. And here is the Wolverine as a kind of a almost like a werewolf or vampire looking card. Again, it's a cool looking take of the characters. I don't mind, but again, the cards definitely have a 90s feel to them, and which is fine. That's where they're from. But again, I just want to show the differences in the card to everyone. What was design, what was the inspiration, why does everyone really like that design so much? Well, because it's based on a design that came from the 90s, and so it's like they took the best of this and kind of made the design look similar enough, but they didn't just do everything. But I think they didn't do everything for this design because, again, they couldn't. I think the technology for this is not around anymore, and to develop it again would be expensive, so they just go with what they got. So there you go. That's my comparison of the 2017 metal set from Fuller Ultra against the 1995 Fleer metal set, which was the direct inspiration. So I'll see you next time. Bye.